So I did a thing today. You know what I did? I had to go Petco. By golly, they have red wigglers. Now they also have night crawlers. So I'm kind of curious on what species of night crawler they got. So I got 2 containers of night crawlers. So we'll find out if they start heading for the hills, they're Canadians. If they don't, and they're okay with the warm in this room, then they might just actually be Euros. So I'm going to do a little test to find out what kind of worm they're actually selling. Now, as far as the red wigglers, I double checked. They are definitely red wigglers. And what I usually do, or what I did one other time too, I don't do it all the time, but since I was there, I figured I'll go ahead and do it. But what I do is they have the worms in their bugs and stuff, they only keep for a period of time. If they go past a period of time, then they're becoming too old and have a chance of, perishing. So they mark them down for sale. So I grabbed the ones that they're about a little over a month old. They're almost 2 months old now. So they mark them down for sale. Now, one is marked for sale, at a discount price, and the other 2 weren't, but they're still older. So I went ahead and just grabbed them. But they are red wigglers. I double checked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up this bin. I'm going to set some food over here because I know they're hungry. And I'm going to go ahead and set some food. And this is going to be the start of my red wiggler colony. Just straight red wiggler, nothing else. This bin was actually my other bin that I forgot to show because I totally forgot I was going to do it. But this was my grandpa. That's not a worm, is it? This was my grandpa bin that had wormlings and cocoons that I let grow out. There were so many worms in there. I didn't even realize there was that many worms in there. They were hungry, and they were all in the section that I put the new bedding. There was a lot of worms in here. So I went ahead and just put them into Grandpa. And so they can help eat the food that's in there as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this big bin up for the 3 little containers of red wigglers that I got. Now, the containers, they don't have an exact amount. They say about maybe 45 to maybe 50 are in there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and count them out and see exactly what we're starting with. That way I can tell exactly what's going to be maybe popping out of here. So we'll go ahead and fill this up. And I know they are going to be super happy to get out of their dry bedding. And it will also give them some moisture as well, because their bedding is so dry. So I know they are going to be happy in this. And this is my pre-compost, so it's still been sitting. It's still been doing its thing. So it should be good and yummy. All the worms that have my pre-compost bedding have been just going to town on it. There's not much left of it. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and give them some worm chow. Give it to them on one side of the bin. I know they're going to be hungry. Fluff it in there. Right. I'll have this side. They can stay on if they want. No, this won't really heat up, but it'll be food. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and get that moved over there. Grab one of my other bins. You see? I guess that other bin was so big. All right. Okay, I'm back. Now you can see how many worms are actually in here. So these are definitely red wigglers. Now, that looks, I would say that's probably about 30. Funny. Wow, they were really balled up. And what I did is because Petco keeps them in a refrigerator, I've let them kind of warm up naturally before I mess with them and stuff, because they're, you know, pretty lethargic and stuff. So I didn't want to also shock them, putting them in, you know, warm, because since they do need liquid and stuff, I didn't want to shock them from going from cold to, you know, a warm temperature. So I just kind of have been letting them all warm up. I'll mix some of the bedding into it, and then that way it'll rehydrate them. Yeah, there's a few in here, so that's pretty good. Nice quick way to get some worms. As 45 to 55 is what you get in each one. And there they be. There's going to be there. This one's got a lot of them. Ooh, I might not be able to, I think they ate most of their bedding. This one's got more than 55. Okay. We are going to have to do this. So, there's too many in there for me to try and pull it out. There's not much bedding left. This in there. This in there. I don't want to mix them. But, well, can't do much about that one. That one just had too many worms. So we'll add some liquid. Hydrated. And then we'll just let them sit. We'll let them sit for a little while like this. And I don't want to get rid of the bedding that they're in because it does have all their microbes and stuff in it. So, oh, that's wet. So I don't want to get rid of their own microbes. That way they feel comfortable. I'll add a little bit. Remember, do this in increments. You don't want to make it too wet. You want it just enough that makes them happy for breeding. And then they will thank you. I think these guys are going to thank me anyway. They're pretty dry. A little bit more. I think this is probably going to be about it. Actually, I'll just go ahead and add a little bit more. That way all I have to do is just put this in there. Put them in it. Look at all them worms. Let's spread them out just a little bit. There we go. Can I get down there? work their way down. They'll realize that, you know, below them is a little wetter than what they're in, so they'll start working their way down. But you can kind of see them already doing. They are going. Look at them go. Most of them have pretty much moved down now. This one's still a little but he's moving. Okay, we'll let them sit for a little bit in there, kind of get their moisture back. And then while they sit in that, I will add some moisture to this. And by the time I'm probably done with that, these guys all have gone and sat in here long enough that they've, you know, gotten a little moisture in them. I'll take this back up. It'd be a breeding bin. Needs a little bit more moisture. So right now, this is what you want. This is what you want for just castings. Okay. You want it to form a ball, but break up really easy. Oh, keep forgetting that the table knocks you around. Now, we got to set it up for a breeder bin. Can't have standing liquid, moisture, or anything like that, but it has to be really wet. That's why I do it this way if I'm trying to breed to up my populations. Because I made the mistake the one time, and I set my main, before Grandpa was ever built, I used the long under the bed storage container, which works great to start out with, and or just use in general. Just don't get the one with the wheels, though. The one with the wheels, you have to go around the wheel well, and it's kind of a pain. But I created that bin as a breeder setup, and when it came around to me having to actually apply it into my grandpa worm casting setup, that was the biggest pain, trying to get it from super wet breeding to being able to just easily harvest the casting. And so I kind of learned from that even just starting out with a small, you know, small amount, set some aside to where they're in a bin, either, you know, something like this, or a storage bin, or something that you could set it up a little differently to their liking for breeding. And then that way you don't have to have your main setup that way if you don't want to. Now, if you don't mind that is totally your call. You can do it. It's not gonna make or break nothing. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a lot easier having it separate. Because then that way, you know, my main bin is still doing what it's doing, you know, throughout its process. And then these guys are doing what they're doing for this process. And it just keeps them separate. And then after 21 days, when they have, you know, bred and You get those nice little cocoons and everything. Then you pull out the adults, put the adults into a new one, and start the whole process over. If you want to do it that way. If you want to just put them in something like this and just leave the adults in there and just let them do their thing, and let the cocoons and everything hatch, you can do that too. But the thing to keep in mind when you do is worms will self-regulate. So if the population is too high in the container that they are in, so say you leave your adult and all those cocoons hatch, and then any other previous cocoons hatch, and you get like mass worms, they won't breed no more. It'll become too many. So based on your container bin size will kind of determine how many worms you will actually end up with. Because if it's not big enough to sustain a population, they won't breed. Because there's just not enough room, there's not enough resources, there's not enough of anything. So they will not breed. That's why you notice that some people that have been doing this for a long time, they set up separate breeder bins with adults, and then after so many days, they remove the adults and, you know, leave the bin to hatch out and grow the little worms. Because once they hatch, that population is going to increase. And if you keep, say, you know, 100 worms in a bin this size, they'll go to town. They will basically keep breeding because there's ample room. Ample room and ample resources for them. Okay, I think I've got this pretty wet now. So, now before, you can see the difference. I'm getting a little bit of drops. See how wet that is? It's pretty wet. And I'm getting liquid off of it. So, that is prime real estate for breeding. Right there. Very wet. Exactly what they like. I think what I'm going to do is, now that I mixed the worm chow into everything, I'm going to go ahead and put worm chow back on this side. That's just how I do it. You can put them in a like a tote, as long as, you know, it's a good sized tall tote or something, and just leave them and let them do their thing for however long you want to let them do it. But the other thing that happens too is the younger ones have to fight for food over the big ones. So doing it this way, it also allows for the little ones to get big enough and, you know, eat and access resources and stuff like that. Now, what I'm going to probably go ahead and do is, because you figure 45 to 55. We'll just say there's probably about 45 in each container. Somewhere in there. 45 times 3, that's 15. That's 12. 135. So almost 140 worms. Just, where is that coming from? Just based on, you know, there being a population of 45 in those little containers. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them in this bin for a little while. This bin is big enough to house that many worms. And then once this bin basically becomes pretty populated with just the red wigglers, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some adults and then start doing them in their own little smaller, the little black bin ones, and let them breed that way. But for now, because it's only about 100 and some odd worms, this bin, because it's good size, it's ample, it's big enough. It'll be just fine. Get them here. Let them work their way back down again. I know, guys, I'm sorry. But you did get a little moisture, so. Get anybody. Oh, there's a baby one. If I can get it. Oh, it's a baby one. Did I get everybody? No, there's one right there. Did I get everybody? No, we're left behind. I got everybody. Okay. Got everybody. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and let these guys bury back down again. But at least this time they're wet. So they should be pretty happy. And the bedding below them's a lot wetter. So that'll be okay. Right now there. Alright. Red Wiggler breeding bin done. So I'll give them a couple days. Let them settle in. Let them get acquainted, hopefully. And then, still got a worm ball. Well, see how it goes. 21 days should pop out a whole bunch of cocoons, I hope. Well, at least some of them anyway. Because some of them look like they're about ready. But when they breed together, they each will create a cocoon. But that's only if all of them are ready to breed at the same time. Now, this is a bin full of a mix. Little wisps, or wormlings. I like calling them wormlings. Of wormlings, juveniles, and adults. So, it's not going to be a full-blown amount. So, I'm maybe figuring 50, if that. Maybe, roughly. That'll get just in the first go-around. And then after that, when their population has actually grown kind of on its own, I will pull out a specific number of adults that are ready and then put them in their own, like I said, little smaller breeding setup. Probably about, depending on how many I end up with, or if I get more worms, I don't know. And then I'll do like 200 to 500 in a setup. That way, it'll kind of mass produce on its own. And then just rinse and repeat the process. Okay, them covered. I just got done doing that. And then these are the night crawlers, which I should probably go ahead and add. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more liquid into this. It's not very much bedding, but for now, I don't have enough made up. Because night crawlers actually should have a lot deeper than this because they do burrow. So this is really not that much bedding for them. By all rights, but for now, it'll work until I can get some more. I'm sorry. You guys are going on a roller coaster ride. Alright. I think I've added a good amount of liquid into here now for them. Okay, now let's dump them out and see what we got. They've been moving, so I just don't know how many are actually moving alive. They don't seem as big as Canadian, so I'm hoping they're not. They are still a little lethargic, though. They don't seem like they're as big as Canadians to me. Come on, guys, wake up. I know, come Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. Let's see. I already had to toss one that didn't look like it was going to make it because it looks like they had started eating on it. Because I think it was in the midst of perishing. So I just tossed it out for like the birds to get. Okay. They definitely create some really big castings, that's for sure. Okay, let's see if they move around. So whatever ones don't move, I'll just toss out into nature. And oh, this little guy moved. And then I'll just toss them out into nature and let the birds get to them. They'll realize that there's wet below them. They'll start burying themselves. Okay, that one's moving. Oh. I want to see if they start moving. Because whatever starts moving, then that's a good thing. I'm hoping the light will kind of make them move. And I think they're starting to realize that the bedding under them is a lot wetter than what they're in. Because there they go. What I'm going to have to do with these guys is because they are, you know, bigger worms and they are burrowers. They actually should have, you know, a fairly deep kind of bedding. This is not really that much for them. So I have to make up some more bedding and then put them in a little bit deeper kind of situation. And then let them just kind of do their thing that way. Or take one of my other trays and maybe do a setup in that. I'm not sure. Because their size alone, it takes up real estate in here. What are you doing? Are you good? Are you okay? What? Are you alright? Oh, is your ear bothering you again? I know, baby. Hold on. Mom's almost done. Yeah, Mom's almost. I know. Mom's almost. Would you stop? It's not going to do nothing. It's not going to move. This is not romper room. I don't see one that's really not moving. They're just moving really slow right at the moment. They're probably still kind of lethargic from being in the refrigerator that long. No food. So what I'll do is I'll just check on them. I'll give them at least 24 hours. And if I still see a worm that hasn't budged and dove down, then I'll dispose of it. Yeah, we'll just leave them like that. Just kind of let them do their thing. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Cover them. Let them do their thing. Put our bubbers on. Oh, this is my only little bin, right? Yeah. So this is the night crawlers. Okay, guys and gals, that is it for tonight. I still have to cover that bin. I got everybody that I purchased in their own containers, ready to go. I got ones that I needed to put in a bigger setup, which they actually still need more bedding, but kind of stuck on that one until I make more. And then, yeah, I think we're all caught up now. Wow, I did it. I got everybody caught up that I needed to get caught up. I am good. For the moment. Yeah. I am awesome. How about that? Okay. We will catch you on the flip side.